Power Trip, the story of energy, is going to take us around the world and over time to learn about energy, from the past to the future. Energy is what makes our modern world modern. Energy is all around us, hidden in plain sight. Power is also a play on words. It's not just energy, it's also political power, or economic power, or wealth. Energy has lifted a lot of us out of poverty. In the late 1800s, dams like this one were transforming America. They just turn on the water. Hear the turbines? Making power right now. Dams over the history of humanity have always been symbols of power. The way that politicians retain power and consolidate power. And that's because dams improve lives. They store water for irrigation and make electrical power. Energy has a democratizing effect because all of a sudden you can read a book. You don't have to rely on someone else for information. It's because you have the ability to go to town and participate in your civic elections. Energy is freeing and democratizing and liberating. We're all richer now because of energy. There was a promotional campaign called the Farm Woman's Dream that was designed to bring advanced water systems out to rural areas. With these new systems, the poster would say, you can make your dream come true. The farm woman's dream was to have something better, and modern energy systems got her there. It seems dated now, but it really did improve lives, especially for women. And as women became liberated from their chores, from the tedious tasks that were requiring so much manual effort, they could do other things, like participate in the economy.
Oh, this is easier. Yeah, we can handle this okay.
Now, it turns out that managing water and managing energy goes back thousands of years. The idea is not new. For all the things in the ancient world that we needed, people used different forms of energy. They used manpower or animal power, and eventually they used water power. You need a couple gallons of water per person every day just to live. But if you add in all the other luxuries we have in modern life, washing our food and boiling our food, doing our laundry, and then irrigating our lawns, it's more like 150 gallons of water every day for every person. It took a lot of muscle power, as you can see here, to raise that water. Hey, can I give it a try?
Sure.
That's one. All right, now we got a full bucket. Thanks. We need to find a better way to do this. It turns out that it takes a lot of energy to pump water because water is so dense. Eventually we went also to animal power, things like horses and horsepower. In fact, horsepower is a measure of how much power you can get from the horse to raise water out of a well. And the idea of inventing a new way to move water is nothing new. Archimedes, thousands of years ago in the age of antiquity, came up with the Archimedes screw, a clever device to help people raise water out of low-lying rivers to neighboring fields. Then we eventually went to the age of machines, where a machine using the energy in the coal or the natural gas or the petroleum could do the work of many animals that could do the work of many humans. We flip a switch and it does the hard work for us. In fact, the story of energy is a story of change. Energy has changed over time. We've changed the types of energy we've used, the types of fuels. We've changed how we've used it, and we've changed what we've used it for. And we use energy as a marker of time. We use it to mark modern times versus the olden times.
Hit the brakes, he'll fly right by you.
We have liftoff.
And this shows up in movies and TV shows of popular culture, whether it was intended or not.
Does it run like on regular unleaded gasoline?
Unfortunately, no. It requires something with a little more kick. Plutonium.
Plutonium. Wait a minute. Are you telling me that this sucker is nuclear?
Time for lunch. In a cup.
We consume 100 quads of energy per year. One of those quads is to feed our bodies. The other 99 are for all the other luxuries of life. That's the same as saying that for each one of us, we have 99 humans around just to help us do our chores.
The slaves are mine. Their lives are mine.
We're all emperors now. One of the things that Power Trip will show you is that energy is all around us. It's in our transportation, our personal liberties. It's in our food. Hi, how are you doing? Good, I'm ready for lunch. Because of the modern energy system, we can have things like this 5,000-mile salad, where the different parts of it came together from around the world, all for my convenience and taste. We grew the food using fertilizers made from natural gas. We harvested it with machines using diesel, and we ship it or truck it to a central facility for processing and chopping and wrapping it in plastic made from fossil fuels. Refrigerate it with electricity, maybe made from coal or maybe solar power or something like that. So there's all these different forms of energy that come into the salad to bring it here together at this time, just so I have a nice, healthy lunch. The sad part of that is we throw away a lot of that food. We throw away between 25 and 50% of all the edible food in the United States each year. There's enough energy embedded in the food we throw away to power Switzerland for an entire year. You might say we're addicted to energy, and that's because it gives us so much. Gasoline is one of the great liberators of society. In a gallon of gasoline, I have a tremendous amount of energy, enough energy to take me dozens of miles in a car. A trip that would have taken weeks now takes hours. But gasoline's quite complicated. It's a complicated mix of molecules, and it got here in a complicated way. There's a whole supply chain of actions that happened before we got to this point. You bring a barrel of oil out of the ground, about 10% of the energy in that barrel is just to pipe it, refine it, move it, store it, and then it goes into my tank. So we've already lost 10% of the energy in the oil before I ever get it to my car engine. So gasoline has its environmental downsides, but it's a modern fuel. It's actually one of the cleaner fuels. Imagine having to use cow dung as a fuel for heating and cooking in your house. Sounds pretty gross, doesn't it? You'd have to go collect it from the field, then burn it to get the heat. And it turns out for thousands of years, humans used cow dung because it was available and it was cheap. Let's see how this pile works. Maybe we can get it to burn. It's kind of ripe, so it smells a little bit. If you have piles that are stored for a long time, it actually can be dangerous because you get natural gas build up inside and actually they can spontaneously ignite. Then you have these piles of burning cow dung out of control. If you're gonna shovel cow dung, it helps to wear a tablecloth. It just makes it easier somehow. They come out to watch us. Hello. You wanna find a nice dry patty, kind of crumbly, not too wet. It's already catching fire underneath. Look at that smoke. Yeah, you don't want that filling up your house too and breathing that in. Turns out there are a couple million people who die every year prematurely from the indoor air pollution from burning primitive fuels and primitive cook stoves. If I had to warm up my house, I would burn cow dung, but if I had something cleaner, I would use the cleaner fuel. The good news is that energy sources usually improve over time. That we can go from one primitive form and an inefficient device to a better form of energy and a more efficient device. The transitions from the older technologies and the older forms of fuels have been enabled by key innovators along the way. People with names you might recognize, like Tesla, Edison, Watt, Joule. Many people who were really smart who thought there must be a better way. And they created the devices that some of which we still use today. We're due for another innovator.
I've got a solar panel attached to this cardboard piece right here.
So you're doing a couple energy conversions, that's great. Some people are concerned we're running out of energy, and we're really not. We've got plenty of energy. There might be certain forms of energy that are getting more expensive to produce, like the fossil fuels, but other forms of energy, like the tides that are pulled up and down by the moon, that's not going to run out. Or the sunshine that comes in that gives us solar energy. That solar energy gives us wind. The wind gives us waves. That's not going to run out. So we have plenty of energy, and it's going to last for billions of years. We just have to change our mindset. We have to change the way we think about energy. We have to change the technologies and the ways we harness it. Energy done the right way gives us liberty. It makes us rich. It gives us a quality of life we could only dream of. But energy done the wrong way pollutes the air, pollutes the water, undermines our national security, and makes us poor. The goal of Power Trip is to inspire and educate a whole new generation of energy innovators and decision makers, to take us to a better tomorrow when it comes to energy. So Power Trip is a story of energy over time and over place around the world, but it's also what that energy means for us in society. You might say we're addicted to energy, and that's because it gives us so much. But it raises the question, does energy liberate us, or does it enslave us? We're going to change the way you think about energy. This is Power Trip. I'm Michael Weber, and I'm freaked out because I'm afraid of heights on top of a dam. Do you see the nerves?